Look at a map, and geography appears as a static set of lines and labels. In reality, the physical landscape acts as the bedrock that dictates the rules of economic theory, determining where wealth accumulates and where it stagnates. Economists call this path dependence. Initial geographic conditions can lock a region into a specific long-term economic trajectory. 19th century Britain is the textbook example. The island sat on massive coal reserves and possessed a dense network of naturally navigable rivers. Before paved highways or rail networks, moving heavy goods over land was prohibitively expensive. These waterways provided the logistical lead necessary to move goods across the country before modern infrastructure existed. That local abundance of coal provided the cheap energy required to move away from manual labor and build the world's first massive mechanized production lines. Britain built its industrial lead by weaponizing these geologic endowments, converting local mineral wealth into a global economic advantage. This era created the Great Divergence, a period where localized geographic advantages split the global economy into rapidly industrializing empires and regions that remained limited to supplying raw materials. Production remained heavily centralized because transport was so difficult. A country without deep water ports or accessible energy within its own borders simply could not compete. For a century, economic power meant possessing these physical assets. Today, that wealth is no longer trapped by local geography. It is dispersed across vast, interconnected trade networks. Historical success depended on possessing raw geographic advantages. The modern economy depends on how perfectly we can connect them. The shift to the modern era occurred as technological leaps in transport broke the geographic trap. When shipping costs dropped, nations were no longer forced to manufacture everything locally. This allowed for comparative advantage. This core economic principle suggests that a country should produce only what it can make at a lower opportunity cost than its neighbors, based on its unique geographic and structural assets. Containerization and the rise of megaports allowed nations to fully exploit these advantages on a global scale. Physical distance is no longer a primary economic barrier. Nations specialize strictly in industries their geography and labor forces allow them to perform most efficiently. This specialization created global value chains, or GVCs. Modern production is fragmented, with different stages of a product's creation scattered across global borders. Look at the map of this consumer device. GVCs optimize for geographic variables by placing each node of production in the exact country that offers the best comparative advantage for that task. These disparate global components eventually converge into highly specialized, geographically concentrated assembly hubs. This hyper-specialization creates massive workforces dedicated solely to the final integration of components designed and built thousands of miles away. Modern trade is a physical network perfectly optimized for geographic efficiency, extracting the maximum possible value from every node on Earth. This level of optimization has a critical flaw. Extreme geographic efficiency has bred severe structural fragility into the global economy. When the entire globe relies on a single geographic hub for a specific step in production, local disruptions quickly scale into global crises. The COVID-19 pandemic served as the ultimate stress test. Lockdowns in concentrated manufacturing hubs, specifically in China, triggered massive supply shocks that the system could not absorb. The paralysis of a few key geographic nodes choked global logistics, creating a backlog of containers and halting production lines worldwide. Optimizing purely for comparative advantage creates a single point of failure. If one vital geographic node breaks, the entire global value chain collapses. Governments and major firms are now responding by shifting their primary goal from pure efficiency to supply chain resilience. Strategies like diversification and reshoring are used to spread geographic risk across multiple borders, ensuring that a failure in one region doesn't stop production entirely. We see this in technological industries migrating supply chains out of China and into India to reduce their exposure to a single geographic disruption. These new manufacturing nodes use highly advanced automation, proving that resilience is possible without sacrificing technological capacity. Modern trade networks are built on the strategic architecture of geography. This requires nations to constantly balance the efficiency of comparative advantage with the security of a diversified supply chain.